What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 6 of The Fade. I'm once again joined by Steve Laurie. I'm Luca Zima. It was a crazy week last week in the week 8 trade deadline. The trades weren't really up to par. I think this was one of the worst scenarios or one of the worst years at the trade deadline. But before we get really started, I just want to send my condolences to Adam Johnson. A freak accident that happened on the an NHL. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family, and
What
yeah, it's just
happened?
a really dude. He was out there like they were in a game, and this guy like went and dude, they're saying that this guy like intentionally like he killed him on the feet, like his he like lifted his leg up, dude, and they have skates and it slit his neck, dude, and you just see a bunch of blood pouring.
Oh, dude, I saw that video.
Yeah, it's very gruesome.
Yo, I saw that. Dude, I thought that was fake.
Yeah. Yeah, dude,
That's fucking
they're
crazy.
saying that the guy who did it, man, that like it was intentional, and because apparently he's a dirty player and shit like that.
Damn, dude, I thought that
Yeah,
was
like
like fake or something because I saw it
they're
on like
saying
a
that.
group on
Yeah, they're
Facebook.
saying, dude, that they don't think like that he purposely went to kill him, but they think that like he was actually going to like cause an injury, and
Dude,
I think
that's
with
crazy.
the NHL after like seeing that, dude, they got to put like protective guards because that's the only part of their body that's really exposed.
Yeah.
Like they have gloves and stuff on.
Yeah, those skates are sharp, man.
Yeah, yeah, it's literally knives, dude. They
That
got to be
yeah,
skating on ice.
yeah, that's no
But
joke.
yeah. Off of that, Lori, what do you got this week, man? We seen a big game out of Tennessee.
Yeah, man, I think Will Levis is a good place to start. Definitely, he had 238 yards, 4 touchdowns, 130 rating. This is only his NFL debut, man. So I mean, he had 26 fantasy points too. But I will say the last quarterback that we saw throw 4 touchdowns in his Titans debut was Marcus Mariota, and we saw what happened to him. So I wouldn't buy into the hype train on Will Levis yet. But I that was a great performance by him, and I'll give him that. That really was a good performance. And if he can keep his play up like that, man, he can do good things for that team because Tennessee as a whole organization wasn't looking like too well even before this trade line or the trade deadline. I really thought DeAndre Hopkins was going to end up getting traded. He balled out, man. He had 3 touchdowns on 4 receptions, over 100 yards. I think he had over 110 yards. Don't count this dude out, man. Do not count DeAndre Hopkins out. I'm telling you right now, he's 31 years old, man. He's been saying, man, he hasn't been like too happy for the past couple weeks. Do not count DeAndre Hopkins out. This is the first time that he's playing with Will Levis in an actual game. There's big things that come between these two. And even Derrick Henry, man, he can even kind of boost Derrick Henry's play up because Derrick Henry's a good receiving back too. Obviously, he's a great running back, like has power and everything like that, but he can catch out of the backfield too. Same thing with Spears. He's another good receiving back. So Tennessee, man, starting with Levis, I think that's a really good thing. But all I'll say is that if he can keep his play up, I'm going to be impressed because he had a great performance.
Yeah, I think this is the end of Tannehill's run in
Yeah,
Tennessee.
me
I
too.
mean, dude, but saying that, dude, Ryan Tannehill, there was a clip of him after one of Levis's like tutties, and dude, he's a really good teammate, man. And sitting there, he's not sitting there like most QBs do when they know they're losing their job and smug and miserable. He was very happy for Will Levis. I think Tannehill knows he's on the back burner of his career, and that seeing a young guy come in, I'm making a lot of money anyways. And I don't really want to get hurt anymore. I'll go and back this guy up and mentor him. Yeah, like I said, I think if Will Levis went and had a shitty game, that we would have probably seen at the trade deadline D Hop and Derrick Henry both be traded, honestly, because at that point they have nothing to work with if they don't have a quarterback that's ready. And yeah, I was expecting both them to get traded before this game, and now seeing what Levis could do, very, very high on Will Levis. I think too, man, him being drafted in that second round, knowing he was expecting to go for in the first round.
Yeah, and you can
And
tell it hurt him, man. When everybody
yeah,
passed up on him, you could see the look in his face.
yeah, and I feel like, dude, like he has that on his shoulder, man, that chip on his shoulder. Another thing I want to say about Will Levis is how I was saying about a great teammate with Ryan Tannehill is Will Levis, dude, is another one, man. He said it left a sour taste in his mouth and the rest of the team's mouth when Malik Willis came off the field and Will Levis came in and they started booing Malik and everyone's like, what are they booing? And they realized that they're booing Malik Willis and they're like, he's going to be a part of us going forward, a part of us able to win. Derrick Henry spoke highly too on Malik Willis. As an organization, and as a fan base too, that's just very horrible. Not an organization, but the fan base as a fan base, you booing Malik Willis, who's sitting there working his ass off. How's that going to help him develop or give him the confidence? Every quarterback needs confidence. Same thing with Zach Wilson. He's doing all right now. It's because he's won 3 straight games because he has confidence. When he had no confidence, he wasn't doing nothing. And that's the biggest part is on any team is the quarterback. That's why they're in the MVP awards and that's why they're getting paid the most, is because they ultimately are the ones who decide, is this team going to win that game or not? And they have a lot on their plate. And I mean, Malik Willis, I think he'll be a good backup anywhere he goes. I don't think Will Levis is going to lose his starting job in the next couple of years. I think it just fits him. But very happy for D-Hop, man, with 4 catches, $128 and 3 tutties. Everyone, like he said, he's feeling. Yeah.
I thought it was like 112.
Yeah, he said, everyone wrote him off. He feels like Geno. It's people had every right to write him off. You know what I mean? And it's not him. After this topic, we'll go on another on the Raiders. It's quarterback play. Ultimately, D-Hop is a very productive receiver, and we're seeing the same thing happen in Las Vegas. If you don't have a quarterback throwing you the ball, how are you going to produce as a receiver? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think the Titans could seriously make a good playoff push. Definitely not winning that division, but that wild card in the AFC South is going to be open for anyone.
Yeah, it really is, man. And Hopkins sees his targets too, man. He's had no less than 5 targets each game. That was his second game going over 125 yards. I mean, we're only going into week 9 here, man. There's still big things that can come ahead, So yeah, like you said, I'm really high on Will Levis if he can keep his play up like that. He really impressed me the other day. I did not think he was going to come out and throw 4 touchdowns. I really didn't. He threw for 238 yards too. Like I said, his rating was over 130. He played a very good game, man. Shout out to Will Levis for his play. And
yeah, for real.
Same thing, like even Hopkins, man, to catch 3 touchdowns on 4 receptions is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
team.
Oh,
that's what I wanted to say, dude. Bro, if you look at Will Levis's 3rd touchdown or his 4th touchdown or something like that, he threw it to number 15. Dude, this guy's sitting in the pocket and he literally just goes like this, gets hit and throws a perfect dot. And he's on the ground, dude, and I'm not joking. It reminded me of RG3's tutty. That against the Saints, dude. RG3 threw a tutty and he's on the ground and all he did was just look up like that. Dude, that's what Will Levis did, man. He has that swagger to him too.
He does.
I like Will Levis. It's just a little weird, man, that he puts mayo in his coffee. That's just weird. He got a big sponsorship though in the draft, man, with some mayo company. But good for him, man. Good for him. But going off that, like we were saying, how I was saying about with D-Hop, it's a very similar situation going on there in Vegas, all in shambles. I knew Josh McDaniels was a joke of a coach.
Yeah.
Their fans were sitting up there telling Mark Davis, their owner, or whatever the hell his name is, they're like, fire Josh McDaniels. And he started screaming at the fans and shit. But
yeah, I saw
I mean, dude, I've seen Josh Jacobs, man. In 7 games last year, he had over 1,000 yards and 10 tutties in 7 games. And this year he only has 353 yards. But I feel bad for Devontae Adams, man. The guy would have had a 98-yard tutty, wide open. He burned the guy. Then he's wide open on a 60-yard tutty. Literally no one near him. And Jimmy G overthrows him by 10 yards. Jimmy G, dude, is a joke.
Hopkins was so mad. I can't believe he didn't get traded, man. He has to feel like he has to be in the worst situation of all wide receivers in the NFL right now.
Who, Adams?
Yeah, he has to be.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
team, he came there to play with Derek Carr, dude. The year after he comes there to play with one of his best friends, he gets traded to the Saints. Now he has now they're just rotating through quarterbacks. Now he has this 4th-round draft pick, Aiden O'Connell, which
Is that
which
who they're starting this week?
yeah, they're starting Aiden O'Connell, which he might not be terrible, man. The last time we saw somebody take a chance on a 4th-round pick, man, Dak Prescott worked out pretty well for
Yeah.
Dallas. So we'll see what Aiden O'Connell could do. He played for Purdue. He had over 9,000 career passing yards, over 60 touchdowns. He had like 35 interceptions. So his
Is
play down
Jimmy
there.
G hurt, or are they just benching him?
No, they're benching him. They're just moving on. Yeah, they're done with that scrub, dude.
Dude, like, I get it, dude. He can't move in the pocket. Like, even when he's getting pressured, man, he's not mobile. He's made of paper.
What do you do though if you're what would they do? What do you think they should do next? Like, what's the next move you think they should make? Because they have to do something. They didn't
Caleb
draft
Williams.
bad. They didn't draft bad this year, man. They drafted defensive tools that they're gonna need moving forward.
Well, what they're saying too is, dude, Tyree Wilson, dude, they drafted him in the first round, dude, and this guy has one of the lowest win percent rates. Like, he's only winning every 20 pressures, man. He's not winning a lot.
And a lot of people were really high on him too.
Yeah.
They kind of wanted Philly to draft him if they weren't able to get Carter.
Dude, they were saying they're literally all the Raiders or fans are pissed because they're saying, dude, we should have got Jalen Carter. Like, why are we getting this guy? You know, and honestly, Laura, what I see happening, dude, is they're just giving this Aiden O'Connell guy a reason for them to tank. I think that's the whole situation is, hey, let's just throw this fucking guy in, man. And because now we don't have a guy that we gave a 3-year, $75 million contract to shit the bed. And then it's like, oh, you did this, you did that. Let's just have the rookie come in, see what we got with him. If he can come win games, he can come win games. But, dude, did you hear, dude, Davante Adams went right to the Raiders organization. He's like, what do you think about a change of scenery? They flat out told him no.
Yeah, literally, that's what I mean. Like, to get told that, man, he has to be so unhappy.
Yeah. Like, he came off the sideline, dude. He came off that sideline, man, dude. And before he did it, I go, watch, he's gonna fucking slam his helmet, and he did, dude. And I understand, dude. Like, this guy is not like, he has every right to be acting like that. He is not a normal receiver. He's Davante fucking Adams, dude. One of the greatest of all time.
First ballot Hall of Famer, easily top 15 wide receiver of all time, 100% in my book. Yeah, you can't, dude. And all the money that they're paying him too, man. It's like, they don't have money to even pay a quarterback, so you have to look to draft a quarterback. If you can't get Caleb Williams, you're gonna have to draft Drake May.
And now because then you have Jimmy G now for the next 2 years after this on a big deal. So it's like Jimmy G now has to just be a mentor.
You might as well, dude, draft a quarterback in the first round and try to have a mentor, man, like Brady did to him. You know?
Yeah, like, dude, Jimmy G, dude, is he's too injury prone. He's too slow in the pocket. And even when he isn't getting pressured, I mean, he got pressured on a few of these throws that were missed opportunities. Regardless, you are making $25 million a year. You stand in that pocket. People make those throws. Like, I don't care what. In what world is Davante Adams ending a game with 1 catch, 11 yards?
Yeah,
and real. He got targeted. I think at least like 8 to 10 times. You know, like, what in what world is Davante Adams leaving a game with 1 catch for 11 yards? That's unheard of.
No, I agree.
You know, like, that just sucks, man. I feel bad for him, but it is like, dude, like, they're in that thing to where he's due all this money, but, dude, you did wrong by him of getting rid of the guy he came there for. You know, like,
literally to play with Derek Carr, his college teammate, one of his best friends. He's been very open about that. That's the only reason why he came to that team, and now he's gone. So what's left for him? There's no light for Davante Adams in Las Vegas. It's only darkness, and it's sad to say, because he really is, man. He's not only one of my favorite wide receivers of all time, but one of the best wide receivers of all time in my book for sure.
And that's the thing, dude. So many people are counting him out too of like their top 5 now.
How? I don't even understand how you could count
But
him out.
I am too. Like I'm putting Devontae Adams this year out of my top 5, not because of him, just where
Because
he's
of his
at. Like that's what
quarterback
I was saying.
situation. I
Yeah,
guess
like
that's the only thing.
when
Yeah.
when you're a top 5 receiver, you're producing. You know, like in the league, yeah, Devontae is a top 3 to 5 receiver in this league. But at the same time, I'm gonna go and put my top 5 to where these guys are putting up these numbers consistently. It's nothing against Devontae Adams. He is a top 3 to 5, but it's just he's not producing, man, and it's not his fault. It's literally the organization. Same with Josh Jacobs. He'd be a top 5 running back. You know, he
Yeah.
led the league last year in yards, I'm pretty sure.
And he didn't.
You
He
know,
did.
like
He didn't even have a line.
yeah, yeah. You know, like this guy,
Yeah,
dude,
he's
he's
all
pissed.
over. And what about Max Crosby? Like he's the soul heart. He's the heart and soul of that defense, dude.
Yeah,
What do they do if he wants to get traded? What do they do if Max Crosby holds out? You know?
yeah. I think they're in a whole rebuild mode, but they have so many like valuable players, so many X factor players, dude, elite players that they don't need to really necessarily rebuild. Like I agree, I think they're a quarterback away. I think getting rid of Derek Carr was so stupid, but I mean that was the heart and soul, dude. You lost your locker room
Yeah, he
leader
really
the
was,
day
man.
you got rid of Carr. You
He
know, like
really
that's
was.
horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And like, dude, it's crazy because Josh Jacobs, the Raiders offered the Ravens Josh Jacobs for a second round pick, and the Ravens declined.
They
That's
declined it.
crazy. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
They declined it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
Because,
didn't
dude, like Gus Edwards is producing a lot, you know? Like, I mean, but
Yeah,
dude, you have a running back like Josh Jacobs in
but we
there.
were just saying this last week, dude. Imagine if they would have traded for like Josh Jacobs or Derrick Henry or somebody like
Yeah.
that. That is the
Yeah.
one piece that Baltimore needs, dude, is a top tier running back. If they have a top tier running back, that is a top 3 team in the NFL all around 100%
Yeah.
all year. All year. With the way that Lamar Jackson's playing, dude, I have them in the top 3 right now. They'll be in our top 3 power rankings when they come out.
Yeah, I believe Baltimore's showing a lot, dude. Like there was this play that Brian Baldinger, I have this written down, that Brian Baldinger, he goes in and looks at film of players and he's like, Lamar Jackson on this play, they're inside like the 10 and nothing's open. He's still holding the ball. And dude, he puts his left leg this way and just throws it like that to Mark Andrews. It was beautiful. Yeah, Lamar's on pace for an MVP season. Pat Mahomes is, again, dude, another game with multiple interceptions against Denver. They just lost to the Denver Broncos, for Christ's sake. Yeah, like it's just going like I think this is all going in favor of another Lamar campaign, and we're seeing a lot of quarterbacks this year who got extended. Herbert, Burrow, Hurts, Lamar, you know. You go and give these guys the money. It's like, are they going to produce? Lamar is showing, hey, I was going to hold out, but when you gave me that money, I told you I'm going to come in there and do something. And his receiving core ain't good. Rashad Bateman's dropping balls left and right. I was surprised they didn't go and get anything like go and get a receiver, you know. But
Zay Flowers is good. Their draft pick that they had this year, but Odell, man, he's injury prone. We all knew what was going to happen with that, man. He was going to come in, he was going to request a bunch of money, he was going to get hurt, and that's it. You won't see.
Like he's been playing. He's been
No, I
playing.
know.
He got hurt.
It's only a matter of time before he gets hurt again. You know.
But like, dude, I watched a video on him too, man. He comes off the sidelines because I guess there was a touchdown, dude, that like they missed of him, like that it was either overthrown or some shit. And they're winning the game, anyways. They're winning. They're up by 2 scores, and he comes off to the sideline, dude, grabs his helmet and just throws it at the ground. And you know, people are like, "Oh, here we go with Odell." You know, he hasn't scored since the Rams Super Bowl. But I mean, people are saying he has every right to be frustrated, but your team's winning. But it's like, I think with Odell, dude, he knows what he's capable of, and he's going to hold himself to a high standard. But I mean, dude, if your team's winning, man, you just got to be selfless. I think he wants to get in that end zone so bad, dude, and that it's just not happening.
I hate when he says though, because he always says that, dude. I know what I'm capable of. I owe it to myself, this and that. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, he does. But
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, he does. But what are they paying him, dude? 17, 18 million a season?
18 mil, dude. 1 year, 18 mil. And like, dude, like it was like 13 or like anywhere from 13 to 16 of that's fully guaranteed.
That's my point right there. They're paying him 18 million a year. You just said 16 million and that is guaranteed. He's completely being outplayed by the rookie that they just drafted this year. Completely. Kid's only probably making 900 grand a year, probably less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably 700 because he's a receiver. And he's completely outplaying this guy, man, who comes in here, says, I want to play for Baltimore. I want this team to pay me. They do pay him, and he comes in, man, and he's not producing at all. What other receiver paid 18 million and comes to a team and doesn't produce?
And exactly when he sat out all last season too.
Yeah.
Why are you demanding 18 mil, dude?
And then training all year, man, not all year, but all off season, getting everybody's hopes up, saying that he's going to have this huge comeback, and then he does, man, demands 18 million, and he comes back
hurt first game.
At all, bro. Yeah, he gets hurt first game, and it's like I said, it's only a matter of time before he gets hurt again.
Yeah, you know, like Joey Porter. Go ahead, Steve. Joey Porter, dude, he went right at him, dude. He goes, he's got a pick on him. He goes, get your role. He's like, go be a family man. He goes on the sideline. They're like, what'd you say to Odell? He's like, I told his old ass to retire and go home and be a family man. You know, we're seeing Odell on the back burner again of his career. I do believe though that there's a chance he retires, you know, but I also see like teams like next season, like Kansas City or some that are like, we can still get this fire out of Odell.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Look what happened when he went to the Rams. You know what I mean? They went to a Super Bowl. He could have won Super Bowl MVP if that wasn't technically a quarterback award too. But you could have made a case that Odell could have won that when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he was playing on no ACL.
Who won it? Cooper Kupp won it.
Right? I think Stafford. I think Stafford did.
It was Stafford that won that Super Bowl.
I'm pretty sure Stafford got the Super Bowl MVP.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. The thing is, dude, when the Rams went and got Odell, dude, you have to pass a physical. And the doctors went to McVay and the front office, and they were like, hey, he doesn't have I think it was an ACL or an Achilles. They're like, he doesn't have this.
Yeah, they were
and McVay went to Odell and they're like, hey, man, you don't you're missing it. And Odell's like, listen, man, sign me and just run me till the wheels fall off. Like, I respect him, dude. He could have been like, you know what, I'll just rehab it. But he's like, I'm going to give you all I got. Run me till the wheels fall off. And they the wheels fell off right at the perfect timing in the Super Bowl, you know, but I don't know. I think you get injured too much, man, and it's just wearing on your body.
Yeah, I think Odell's definitely leaning towards the end of his career. I don't think Baltimore will be the last team that he plays for, though, man. I mean, look at Julio Jones, how Philly just signed him, and he just came in and had a great touchdown catch. You know? So that could be Odell next year. But right now, man, for this team to pay him $18 million and for him to come in here, man, and say all this shit, how he owes it to himself and how he's going to do this and that and hasn't done it all. Really, though, man.
No.
It pisses me off, dude, because Odell's been saying all this shit for a long time. And I haven't been high on Odell for a long time since he was a Giant.
Yeah.
I've said it multiple times on podcasts. I do not like Odell Beckham Jr. But
you know, I feel like with Julio, how you mentioned is like, and when he went to Tennessee, they're like, he's fucking washed. Dude, they were just in a horrible to where they were just a running team. They weren't a passing team, you know? And then he went to the Bucs, wasn't really doing much, but dude, he was barely on the field with the Bucs. You know, like, I mean, yeah, they had Tom Brady, but dude,
he really didn't get much time with the Bucs, man.
No. Really and didn't. I feel like with Philly, dude, they just want the reason they signed Julio is number one, again, to have that guy that can clear the way for both Devontae and AJ. And dude, I think Philly is like, you know what, man, we love Julio. There's some plays we can draw up to throw him in, and
Yeah.
there you go. He has a tutty.
He's huge, bro. Did you see the
Yeah.
picture of him, Devontae, and AJ standing next to each other with just Nico and Deshaun? He's huge, bro. He makes AJ look small.
Yeah.
Like there's 100% plays they could draw up for him to catch the ball, man. They could even draw up probably some deep plays, man, for him to catch a ball.
Just throw some jump balls up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? 60% of the time, he's probably going to come down with that one-on-one if it's a jump ball. He's huge, bro. He has a Mike Williams build. Julio's another one, man. That is definitely in my top 10 to 15 of all time. We grew up loving to watch him, man. And he's definitely at the end of his career too, man. But Philly will probably be the last team that he plays for. But in my opinion, good, because I'd love to see him retire an Eagle. You know what I mean? I'd love to go out there. I'd love to see Philly win a Super Bowl this year, and I would love to see Julio Jones retire as an Eagle.
And get a ring,
Same with Jason Kelce, because he just was saying, dude, I don't know if you saw it. It was like 2 days ago on a podcast. He was saying if he doesn't retire this year, it's going to be most likely next year.
Yeah, I feel like Kelce though has that love for the game, man.
He does, but I feel like this year, dude, if they win a Super Bowl, dude, he already is probably the greatest center of all time. But if he wins a Super Bowl and retires on that, it's just going to be established, you know.
Yeah,
that'll be the second Super Bowl. Yeah, but like I said, I would love to see Julio Jones retire as an Eagle. I really would.
Dude, he came over on the sidelines after AJ's touchdown. I think it was against the Dolphins, dude. But he came up, dude, and Jalen Hurts ran right to Julio, and he's like, "Man, I saw AJ," and he's like, "When I see AJ, I see you."
Yeah,
he's like, "You remind me, like AJ reminds me of you." You know, like they got an AJ, dude.
Well, dude, if you go back and watch clips of AJ from Ole Miss, dude, and like interviewers will be asking him, who do you model your game after? Who do you model your game after? AJ's in an Ole Miss uniform, bro, saying Julio Jones. When he was on the Titans, dude, he would say he wore number 11 because that's the number that Julio Jones wore. And then Julio came to the Titans, and that was like his favorite thing ever. Yeah, I swear to God.
Yeah,
and now
they played together in Tennessee.
Yeah, they played together in Tennessee, and that was like the best thing that could happen to him, dude. He says all the time. He's really open about it. Now they're playing together in Philly again. So even that, man, just having Julio as like a mentor to AJ Brown. I mean, AJ Brown is complete. Don't get me wrong, but there's always room to improve, you know. And to have Julio Jones as a mentor for this guy who has the same build and the same play style as him really, really elevates his game, man. You could argue right now that AJ Brown's a top 2 receiver in the game.
You know, that's what I think I was texting you the other day, and I said, right now, it is AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill that are battling for who is the best receiver in this league. And
it is.
I'm not being a biased Eagles fan, but this guy has had 125 in the last 6 games, you know, and with touchdowns, you know, and he got off to a slow start this season in the beginning to where he was like snapping out and all this. But dude, he just knows, hey, give me that ball. Like, give me that ball. I love Devontae Smith, but dude, there's a guy that, and like I said, Devontae's the number 1 in most teams, but there's literally a guy that we're paying $25 million a year to fucking dominate and win us games, and he is our X factor.
Yeah,
you know, like I feel bad for Devontae Smith, I truly do, but I don't because, you know, he's a very good number 2. It's just, dude, like you're helping us win too. Devontae had 6 catches for 99 yards last week, you know. But I just feel like, dude, Philly right now suits AJ Brown. He has that dog mentality in him too, man. Just that fire in him, and he's very explosive. He's cocky, and he has every right to be, you know. But I'm very happy, man, with AJ Brown. Definitely, it's the first time in a while that we can say, man, we have really a true number 1. Like I know when we picked up Alshon Jeffrey, Alshon was a key factor, but he was nothing like AJ Brown. Like people are like, oh, well, he's had Alshon. When we had Alshon, dude, yeah, he put up 900 yards in a year for us.
And he played good in the Super Bowl too. I mean,
but he's slow, man. He was slow. He was a jump ball type guy. AJ could run slants. You know, AJ could run slants. He can burn people on double moves and deep balls. You know, like
He has it
this
all, dude.
guy
He's
is so
physical, he's
complete.
fast. He runs routes
Yeah.
great. He's one of the best route runners in the league.
Mhm.
He's so physical with everybody that he goes against. I know I said it before, that there's not really a man in the NFL that I think can cover Tyreek Hill one-on-one. You could probably say the same for AJ Brown, dude. He's so physical, dude, and so tough, man, and so fat. Like, no, he's not as fast as Tyreek Hill, don't get me wrong. I don't think his route running is as good as Tyreek Hill's either. But he's so physical, man, and just finds the holes in that offense without the speed that Tyreek Hill has, and still finds ways to catch that ball and come down with that ball and
Yeah.
and rack up yards after the catch. You know what I mean? If imagine if he had the speed that Tyreek Hill has, you would not be able to stop him. You would
Yeah.
not. It would be madness in the league right now, especially because he's an Eagle. People would fucking hate him.
Yeah, for real.
And in my opinion, dude, call me biased if you want. I've been a huge AJ Brown fan, dude. All my friends can attest to this since he was a rookie. I've drafted him in basically every year in fantasy, and to see him come on as an Eagle and dominate like this is like a dream come true to me. It really is. Like, I love every second of watching him play in an Eagles jersey. I really do.
I will say this though, that AJ needs to go off against Dallas. It just has to be shown. I don't need the poopos calling and texting me saying, "Look at we just stopped AJ's streak with 125." You know, I think, dude, like Stephon Gilmore and Deron Bland, yous are in for a rude fucking awakening. Yous are in for a rude awakening. Like, I'm telling you, dude, AJ Brown is something. I think this, but I do like. I'll get into it then because I got one of these guys in like a stardom and situms in this Dallas Eagles. But I'm telling you, I think that this is going to be a huge passing game, and I'll cover that with the stardoms and situms. But I think that this is going to be a good game with Philly and Dallas. I really do. Most of the time it is like, I think it was a year or two ago that Dallas really kind of blew them out. But I really expect, dude, that both of these run games are gonna be shut down. Even with Swift, I don't feel like Swift's gonna have that big of a game. You know, I got offered a trade and it was like for Swift, and I was like, you know, I love Swift, but at the same time, dude, he hasn't been producing like I mean, he's still, I think, second or in the top
He's
5
doing
in
well in
rushing.
fantasy, though. I have him in my
Yeah.
one league. I can start him.
Well,
He's
that's
not 15, 14 points.
That's one thing I have written down is dude, he scored last week. He ended with 60 some rushing yards, I think over 65, and he had a tutty. I think off 17, it was like 15 or 17 carries. I'm pretty sure 17. And dude, you know how we do, I don't know if you saw this, but how we do the tush push, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's lined up, dude. And everyone's saying, dude, Philly should have just saved that for like the playoffs or the Super Bowl. Dude, they're all lined up under center. Everyone's ready. Yo, he goes, set, go. And dude, he turns around and hands the ball off to Swift, dude, and Swift takes it because everyone, dude, clogs in.
It's smart.
And you don't expect that handoff going outside.
And it worked.
Dude, Sirianni is such a good play calling.
He is,
So
and that's
good,
why
dude.
he needs to be back in the play calling, man. And look what happens when he is. Brian Johnson was calling the plays for a long time over there. And when Sirianni calls the plays, man, shit like that happens.
Yeah.
You know, and people like to say, dude, that Sirianni isn't a top 5 coach. He is, man. He is. He has a Super Bowl appearance. He has playoff wins, dude. Yeah, he's a top 5 coach, bud.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, dude, even like Mike McDaniels, you know, Tua was saying about like Brian Flores, their old coach before McDaniels. He's like, man, he's like, I felt like weird to even like joke around with the guy in like meetings and stuff. He's like, when he'd be laughing, I'd be scared to laugh. And Tua's like, but Mike McDaniels like made me be open and like I'm able to be myself. Number one, dude, is Brian Flores is a great coach. Like he's suing the NFL and shit because they feel like because he was a black head coach that he ended up getting fired. Brian Flores led them to the playoffs. He led them to a winning record when they were absolute dog shit. And I think the whole thing is people are saying, you know, Brian Flores just wasn't a suitable coach for a young rookie quarterback. And Mike McDaniels is a very more like laid back. Like that's how Sirianni is more of just like that laid back coach that's like one of the boys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like with Bill Belichick, you can't be joking with him. You know what I mean? Like,
he
but
won't
like Dan Campbell. Like Dan Campbell, he's a hard nosed guy, but dude, I'm sure he jokes around
But he
and
can
shit
still
like that.
joke around and laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Because
I
you gotta
agree.
have you want your players to be able to like enjoy the game and love the game. You know, like we're in a different generation now, and I was like reading all this shit, dude, about how Robert Kraft, like, dude, talked to Bill Belichick about like stepping down as like the head coach and shit because he's not just the head coach, he's like their GM too. Like he's like, all right, sign him, trade for him. And like Kraft, dude, I guess like went and talked to him, or they are planned to do that. Is to like ask Bill, like, hey, you know, I think we're going in a different direction now. I wouldn't be surprised if Bill
Me
Belichick's
neither.
out of there after the season, and it sucks.
Me
But
neither.
I mean, Matt Jones is dog shit, absolute dog shit.
Yeah, that's another team, man, that needs to move on from their quarterback. Especially with Kendrick Bourne tearing his ACL this past week. Now they don't have a number one wide receiver either.
Who, Juju?
Yeah, he deals his knee's ready to explode, dude, at any point.
Yeah,
Did you see
yeah,
that?
yeah. They were
So
saying that during training camp in the
yeah, they were
offseason
saying that
that someone found
months
out.
ago, dude, and now they're saying it again. That Juju,
Yeah,
man, at any point that that he steps on the field, man, and makes the wrong move with that knee, his knee can just explode, and he
he's
can be
done.
done with football for the rest
And
of his life.
he's on a 3-year, $33 million
Yeah,
deal. He's
dude.
making 11 a year.
Yeah.
Like,
And you know, Kendrick Bourne wasn't playing bad, man. I have him on my
no, he was
fantasy
doing
team. He
good.
was putting up decent fantasy numbers too, man. For the past 3 weeks, he's been putting
Yeah.
up 14, 15, 16 fantasy points, scoring touchdowns, getting targets, everything.
Mhm.
To see him tear his ACL definitely sucks, man. I'm hoping to see him back next season. Hopefully he recovers good from it. But yeah, dude, even like Ramondre Stevenson, dude, what the fuck happened to him?
Feed Zeke.
He
Feed
ain't
Zeke.
doing shit, bud. Stevenson is
Feed
a
Zeke.
joke. People were high
Yeah.
as shit on him coming into the season, man, saying how because he had a good fantasy season last year, but that
Yeah.
was it,
Yeah.
you know.
That's why they let Damian Harris walk in free agency
Yeah, it was
to the
because of how
Bills.
good Stevenson was doing, man. Because he was
Yeah.
such a good receiving back, and he was getting a fair amount of touches and scoring touchdowns as well. Um, and now look what he's doing, man. Um, I agree with you. Feed Zeke, dude. Zeke's proven, man.
Yeah.
He's already shown what he can do on the goal line. You might as well just feed him now and see what happens
Yeah.
go forward. And because in the future, man, when the time comes, Zeke's gonna be the cheaper option there. You know, um,
Exactly.
you don't see teams drafting running backs high anymore. And I don't think you're gonna. I think this year is gonna be one of the last years like that you see because obviously Bijan is a generational talent. Obviously, he's going to go and be a top 10 draft pick. But even
Yeah.
like Jahmyr Gibbs, man, going 15, you're not
What do
going to
you
see
think
what
about
happens.
what do you think about that situation with Gibbs? Like after he just had a week in week 7, he had like 25, and then like against the Raiders, man, he went absolutely off. What do you think happens in that situation with like David Montgomery coming back? And you know, like, dude, they are absolutely feeding
Yeah,
him.
the
You know,
yeah,
like,
they're feeding him, and they traded for him. They brought him in for a reason. But you know
yeah,
what, man? They might have brought him in for a reason, but they also drafted Jahmyr Gibbs at 15 and traded away DeAndre Swift for a reason. You know,
yeah,
um, in my opinion, if I was to coach over there, dude, I'm gonna feed the hot hand while it's hot, you know, and not feed the guy that's coming off an injury. Jahmyr Gibbs is a great player, dude. He has a great stature, man. He has a great build for a running back. He's hard on his feet, dude. He runs hard. Um, Even in his debut, man, I was saying like he didn't see the ball a lot, but when he did, man, he was pushing hard for yards, man. He was breaking out of tackles, dude. I saw he had this one reception where it was only like a small little check down route. It was like 3 yards, but he got tackled, man, spun, and his knee must have just like brushed the ground, man. He like spun, got up, and started running again because he
mm,
thought he was up, but his knee like brushed the ground. It was a
yeah.
really nice play. If he would have got that, it would have been incredible. But like I said, I'm feeding the hot hand while it's hot for sure with
I
Gibbs.
think that you're paying David Montgomery 3 years, 18 mil. You got him on a cheaper deal, but he is coming off a rib injury, and I feel like because how much they worked him, dude, yeah, he's gonna get banged up, man.
He's a
But
running
I
back,
feel
you
like
know?
I'm worried. Like if I had to tell fantasy owners, I'd be like, man, I don't know what to expect. Like when Montgomery comes back, yes, I'm gonna start Gibbs if I'm most fantasy owners, but for the fantasy owners that have David Montgomery on their bench because he's injured, what do you do necessarily with him? Because is it how it's going to be like last season, how Jamal Williams led the league in rushing touchdowns because when they hit the 1 yard line, they're going and just feeding Jamal Williams. Is what we're going to see with Gibbs gets down inside the 10 yard line and then Montgomery comes in? I have no idea. I think that right now, like you said, feed the hot hand. Jahmyr Gibbs, you drafted him in the early first round, mid first round for a reason. Yes, you did sign David Montgomery. I don't think though because free agency is before the draft. I think they signed Montgomery not expecting to see Gibbs go that far. You know what I mean? And then when you see him there, it's like, well, why ain't we gonna take him? You know?
Well, Gibbs was expected, man, to go like from 25
Yeah,
to 30. Like Philly was
yeah,
projected to draft Jahmyr Gibbs for a long
mm-hmm.
time because he was projected to go around that area.
Yeah.
But so for them to take him at 15, man, and play Montgomery the way they are is just weird to me.
Mm.
I mean, maybe they're waiting just to see like what happens. Maybe year two will be the year that they really, really feed him. But I don't know, man. I like Jahmyr Gibbs, man. He was a great player in college. He was a great player for Alabama. And right now he's hot, so you have to feed him.
I
Nothing
think
wrong with
Detroit right
that.
now, too, man, that's one of the hottest teams in the NFL. Yeah, they got blown out by the Ravens. But, dude, Jared Goff is another one that has to be in your top 5 MVP candidate voting. I mean, shout out to Kirk Cousins, dude. He was definitely in a front runner, too.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was.
literally he had to be in top 5 as well.
Shame, man.
Sad what happened to him. But, yeah, Detroit, I really do see making a deep playoff push. In all honesty, I think that division's theirs, and it's going to be theirs for the next couple
Yeah.
years. I thought, with Minnesota, I felt like when I was seeing like this year, I was like, man, I think Minnesota and Green Bay are going to be the teams that are like slowly giving it up to Chicago, but Chicago ain't producing. Um, with Justin Fields, I don't know where they go with that. He's been hurt for the last, I think, 2 weeks. I think he's coming up again on 3 weeks that he's going to be hurt. This Tyson Bagent kid, he's a rookie. I don't think he's a caliber starter in the league. Very good backup if you need someone to come in, but I don't know. The Bears, that's a team. That's another organization that's just all in shambles. In all
Yeah.
honesty, I mean, they have a solid one with DJ Moore. They just traded for Montez Sweat on defense.
That organization is just by far the worst in football.
How about that though, Steve? How both Chase Young and Montez Sweat go, but Jonathan Allen, dude, has an interview last week after they lose, and he's like, man, I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah,
He's like,
7 years he's going.
yeah.
Screaming, cursing, bro. Going 7 fucking years I've been dealing with this.
And he's the only one, to not get traded on the front line, dude.
Yeah. I mean, hey, man. Commanders might have gotten a third round pick for a guy that they just recently drafted second overall.
Yeah.
But that's a team, man, that you're gonna soon see go into a defensive rebuild. They have some, yeah, because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Sam Howell was the most scoring fantasy quarterback this week in fantasy.
Yeah, he had 30.
He put up numbers, man. Even he barely threw any incompletions in that game. If Sam Howell can keep his play up like that, dude, he's only going to make Terry McLaurin excel. Jahan Dotson, I gave my take on him on the pod I did with Eddie. If you're hurting for a receiver this week, man, in the flex spot because of all the buys, maybe give Jahan Dotson a look.
Mm-hmm.
He got the targets against Philly. He had a great touchdown catch. If you're hurting, maybe give him a look. You might be able to find him off waivers.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But,
think Sam Howell's really proven himself out there.
Yeah, he is, man. And I think Sam Howell's only going to get better over time. I mean, people have been saying, dude, all season, oh, the Commanders don't have a quarterback. The Commanders don't have a quarterback. Sam Howell played good against Philly twice, dude. He went in overtime with them once, and he almost beat them again this time. So I think as the season goes and I think he's only going to get better, and I think he's going to be their starter next year too. I don't think
Mm,
they end up drafting a quarterback or nothing like that. I think Sam Howell's their guy going into the year or going into next year. I
yeah.
think they might lose Rivera, but
Well, dude, they have that offensive coordinator from Kansas
yeah,
City. He
exactly.
left Kansas City, dude, because he was like, he left Kansas. Eric Bieniemy. He left Kansas City because he was saying he's like, it's basically Andy Reid calling the plays. I'm not getting no credit here where it's due, and he's like, I want to go to a team that I'm able to call the plays. If Ron Rivera somehow ends up, because this Eric Bieniemy guy, he could have went and been a head coach somewhere for multiple years, but he's like, I'm going to stay in Kansas City. We're winning. And then it just became so much for him to be like, man, where's my credit? Where's my credit?
He
I'm
could
not
have been
even
the head
calling the
coach of the
plays.
Raiders.
Huh?
He could have been the head coach of the Raiders, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Honestly.
mean, dude, they love interim head coaches. They really do.
Yeah. You see they're bringing their linebacker coach in now as their interim. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
On
the
a day's notice.
linebacker coach.
On a
Yeah.
day's notice, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sitting there eating donuts, dude. And they're like, yo, no one knows who's going to be the head coach. They're like, yo.
Yeah.
And this is where he's like, oh, shit, man, if I fuck
Making his
this up.
coffee in the morning. He's like, huh? Doesn't even know what's going on.
Yeah, he's like, man, if I fuck this up, I'm fucked.
Yeah. Honestly, dude.
But yeah, going off that, dude, did you see how the Broncos, dude? So during the Broncos and Chiefs game, this is gonna piss you off. You're gonna have a field day with this. But dude, they pan over to Travis Kelce, and you probably already know where I'm going with this. As they're like, oh, Travis Kelce, when Swift's not playing, 108 yards. When she's in attendance, 108 yards, and when she's not in attendance, 46 and a half. And dude, they're like, I guess Kansas City's going somewhere, dude. I don't know if they're playing in out of country in Germany or some shit. I have no idea. But they're like, she's going on tour there, like they need her in attendance. Dude, I hate that. It's Travis Kelce, man. If all honesty, dude, maybe he is really going, and when she's in the stands, he's like, oh, I'm gonna put on for my baby. You know what I mean? But like, just this whole thing's ridiculous, man. Like, why are we saying, oh, with Taylor Swift, with Travis Kelce, like the NFL's like, there's rumors, oh, he's thinking about marrying her, and they're talking about having kids in the next year or two, and she's happy. Dude, you just met like a month ago. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like, oh fuck, man.
I think about 50% of the Chiefs fan base is now Taylor Swift fans.
Yeah.
And with that being said, 50% of the Chiefs fans don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, and another 50% of them are Mahomes dick riders.
Yeah, exactly. And another 50% are either Mahomes dick riders or they like to watch Jackson Mahomes dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that's what you truly believed it is, that Taylor Swift needs to be in the stands for Travis Kelce, the greatest tight end of all time, to go off, there's a fucking issue. Playing with the greatest quarterback talent of all time, yeah, that no.
Dude,
No.
how you brought up Jackson Mahomes, dude, there's a video of him. It's him in the middle of Taylor Swift and Mahomes, his wife. And Taylor Swift and Mahomes' wife like chest bumps or some shit. And dude, Jackson Mahomes then goes and does this. Like that, dude. I'm like, what, dude? They pan it up to them, dude. And you just see Jackson Mahomes
just
going like
video. Just to get in the video.
Yeah.
I hate him, dude.
For real.
I fucking hate him. He's the definition of cringe.
Yeah. Not even we're not gonna say other shit, but
yeah,
dude, he just I don't know, man.
Cringe. That's all.
Like, dude, he was sitting there, man. He like over the off season, dude, he grabbed some lady at a bar, man, and just started making out with her. I guess because all these rumors were circulating around, he had to go and prove it. And he just grabs some lady, man, starts tongue wrestling her. And dude, they went. Yeah, dude. And dude, like, he thought he ain't getting in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, dude, the Chiefs banned him last season, dude. They banned him from coming. They're like, man, there's too much media with your brother, man. Like, he needs to stay home.
I mean, if he was my brother, dude, and I was playing on the NFL field, I wouldn't want him at my fucking games either.
No,
And when
no,
we got home, I'd be giving him wedgies, dude, and dumping his head in the toilet.
yeah, for real, for
Like,
real.
no way, dude. No way. He is cringe.
Another thing I wanted to bring up is, dude, you know how like Brandon Marshall has like a podcast or whatnot,
Yeah.
or maybe it's Cam Newton. Cam Newton.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
Brandon
Brandon
Marshall and
Marshall's like
Cam
a
Newton.
sports analyst now, too.
Yeah, yeah. But it was either Cam Newton's pod with Brandon Marshall or vice versa. And Brandon Marshall asked Cam Newton, he's like, Cam, are you a Hall of Famer? And Cam's like, I don't give a fuck. And he's like, Cam Newton, answer the question. And Cam Newton's like, yeah. And dude, he goes, this was Cam Newton's statement. He's like, he's sitting there, dude, with his hair sticking up here out of his hat because he has to cut a hole in all of his hats. He's going, there's a Kanye quote. When I came into the league, there was only one of me. And now when I look around the league, I see so many mini me's or so many me's.
Who is he talking about there? Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, where do you see anyone else besides Jalen Hurts who really plays like you, and maybe Josh Allen? You know, like
I mean, I
I
maybe say Lamar, but
yeah,
you can't even say that like Cam Newton, dude, is the greatest Russian quarterback of our generation because he's not. Michael
no, it's
Vick,
definitely
dude.
Lamar and Mike Vick, dude.
Michael Vick, dude. Lamar, Justin Fields, man, just broke the rushing record again last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Cam Newton has a huge ego, man, and I
Mm,
think that's why I like Cam Newton. Honestly, I like he was one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time when he was in
yeah.
Carolina. He was just tearing everybody up his rookie season. But I think because of the ego on his shoulders and the head on his shoulders, man, how he acts, and that's a prime example right there is why a lot of people don't like Cam Newton. You know,
Mm.
because he acts like he's something that he's not. He acts like he's like
Still can
one of
go out there and
yeah,
produce,
and
dude.
just start ripping, dude. Like, if you think Cam Newton can go on the field right now and just tear it up, you're absolutely mistaken.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
proved that with the Patriots, dude. He was terrible.
I mean, but if Josh Dobbs is out there and these guys are starting Tyson Badgett and Jaron Hall's getting a start and Arizona starting this rookie, there's a reason, bud. You know,
I mean,
like you may be
people are
better than
making
them.
trades for Dobbs now, man. Like, I
Yeah,
did not
yeah.
expect Joshua Dobbs to get traded at the deadline.
You
Of
know,
all people.
I have him written down too, man. I have him, man. I feel so bad for him. Anytime that son of a bitch dude he gets comfortable somewhere, he gets traded. You know, he was drafted by Pittsburgh, went to the Jags, then the Steelers, then the Browns, to the Lions, then to Tennessee, back to the Browns, then traded to the Cardinals, now traded to Minnesota.
Yeah, I
You
didn't
know,
expect
and
that, man, because like you said, he was comfortable with in
yeah,
Arizona. You know, that would a lot of people wrote Arizona off, man, and then Josh Dobbs came in and proved I can actually win some games here. You know what I mean? I can actually
don't
put
you
up.
think that's messed up?
Yeah, I do, honestly. But I mean, I get it. I do get it because
The business.
now out of all times would be the best time to probably trade Josh Dobbs because of the situation in Minnesota, how Kirk Cousins tore his ACL, obviously.
Yeah.
So right now is probably the time where you would get the most capital for Josh Dobbs. But I mean, hey, dude, you did him wrong, man. He really liked it in Arizona, man, and he was comfortable there, and he really flipped you guys around when a lot of people wrote you off.
Yeah, dude, they only picked him up because they were like, oh well, let's go and rebuild, let's go and
Yeah.
lose games. You know, let's not make it obvious that we're losing games. Let's pick up a guy who's been in the league, but we think that he's not going to win us games.
And then he beats Dallas, dude, and then people are finally like, "Oh, well, maybe Josh Dobbs can play."
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
they
you know,
trade
and
him.
it's Kyler Murray's apparently coming back. He practiced, so I
Yeah,
think
I
that was
saw him.
another reason. Like you said it was the right time for them to trade and get. They're in a rebuild mode,
Get
so
the
here's
most
where you
for
get
it.
draft capital for them and put them in a situation where dude, he's not even a starter in Minnesota. That's what's horrible is if this Jaron Hall from BYU tears it up this week, that Josh Dobbs is just going to go there and be a backup. That's fucked.
I mean, yeah, to go from a starter in an organization that you're comfortable with to go to a team and
Mm-hmm.
be a backup and not be. I mean, who's to say if he's going to be comfortable there or not? But to be a
Yeah.
backup when you're in that situation, that just must feel terrible for your morale. You know?
it's a shame too, man, what happened to Kirk Cousins, dude. Like,
It really is,
just
man.
having a season he was having and then tearing his Achilles, that's horrible. And this is was his contract year in Minnesota,
Yeah.
so he might never suit up as a Viking again. And I do see teams, man, like if Kirk becomes a free agent, that he really does go. He'll get signed to a team. Maybe nothing
We'll go
crazy.
after him.
Yeah, maybe nothing crazy, but I think he's a proven winner as well.
Yeah. He's a proven vet.
Even after he got hurt, dude, he was sitting on like the cart and just clapping for his team, dude, like seeing the plays. And then guard Dalton Risner, dude, he spoke so highly. He's like, man, I've only known this guy for 5 weeks. He's like, but what I can tell you is a lot of us look up to Kirk Cousins. We all admire who he is. He's a man of faith. We all aspire to be just like Kirk Cousins as a man. He came in, like, Kirk was in the room. The game ended, dude, and the first thing Kirk asked the guys when, like, they came up to him and they're like, "Hey, are you, like, how are you?" and all this, and he didn't even give a shit. He was just like, "Did we win?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. Very good family, man. It sucks
Yeah,
what
it's a
happened to
shame
Kirk
to see that
Cousins.
injury happen to him when he's
Mhm.
having the best start to a season of his career.
Yeah,
I mean, when was Kirk Cousins ever in the top 3 or 4 candidates to win MVP halfway through
yeah.
the NFL season?
Especially without Jettas, dude.
Yeah, especially without his number 1 receiver, arguably the best receiver in the league.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a shame what happened to him. I don't think we're gonna see Minnesota win many more games, man.
Mm-mm.
Right when they're giving Kirk Cousins the chain, dude, that says top tens, and they're saying Kirk Cochains is coming back. He's making a comeback. He tears his ACL, and
Yeah.
all gets lost.
Yeah.
I mean, um, you might see Justin Jefferson get elevated in the next week or two here from injured reserve, but who knows, man, if that'll even help the situation. You
Hey,
have to see if the quarterback can come off this bench and prove it first. I mean, in my opinion, I wouldn't even be starting this rookie man from BYU. I would be starting Dobbs because he's already
well,
proven
but
this
he don't
season
know
that he
that he
can
don't
do it.
know the system yet, though. That's the only reason they're not starting him is because he
Yeah,
has to get there, learn the playbook, and
yeah,
you need over a week to learn the playbook.
yeah.
I think though, dude, is what this is Jefferson's contract here. If he don't have a quarterback throwing him the damn ball, he's gonna do the same thing Devontae Adams is doing, bitch, 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 and it's like, man, you hold yourself to these standards, and I don't have a quarterback. I'm not saying Josh Dobbs is going to shit the bed, but Josh Dobbs isn't elite. But I mean, who knows with Josh Dobbs? Like we said, he was playing in Arizona where they didn't have no one. They had Marquise Brown, and
Yeah.
Marquise Brown I look at Marquise Brown as like a solid number two
Solid number
receiver.
2, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not a number one.
No, he's fast as shit, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. He's a good route runner too, but yeah, I think he's best looked at as a solid number 2 receiver instead of
Yeah.
number
Yeah.
1.
But yeah, going off that, do you want to close with the start and sit-ems?
Yeah, you can go first.
All right.
So,
All right, so for my start this week, I have starting Dak Prescott against Philly. They let Sam Howell throw up 30.98 fantasy points. I expect the run to get stopped on both sides, and I think that this leads to a very explosive passing game. It's just, and that's how it always is. And Philly secondary, man, another like maybe start Brandon Cooks with them too, because Philly's secondary, dude, has not been performing as we would want. Obviously, you're going to start CeeDee Lamb, but a valuable flex option, I think, is Brandon Cooks this week too against Philly. And then I have a surprising one. I mean, for most, I'm starting I'd start Gus Edwards against Seattle. He scored 29.4 against Arizona. Baltimore's rushing offense is finally in that groove. The Seahawks allowed backs to score double digits in the past few weeks. They allowed 27.6 to Gibbs in week 7. And I expect Edwards to top 20 fantasy points in 3 straight weeks.
that's a good
And
one.
then I just said to people, I'd say after the game he had last week, I would hope that most rostered Will Levis, and I expect some people to go and throw him because with bye weeks and injuries, to go and start Will Levis. If Kirk Cousins was your starter and he got hurt in your league, go and pick Will Levis up. If you have Trevor Lawrence on a bye, go pick Will Levis up. A lot of these guys, I think Will Levis could outperform Bryce Young. Could outperform Tyson Bagent, definitely. So, yeah, I'm taking Will Levis. He's up against Pittsburgh this week, Thursday Night Football. Pittsburgh secondary is kind of weak. I expect D-Hop to go and have a tutty this week. And, I expect Will Levis to have another big day.
Yeah, I didn't write any down because I did that podcast with Eddie yesterday, and I said mine on there. But I will say one, man, because he really impressed me against Philly, and like you said, about all the bye weeks. If you're hurting for a quarterback, man, it wouldn't hurt to give Sam Howell a try. It really wouldn't. He was the highest scoring quarterback in fantasy this week. He goes into a favorable matchup again this week. It really wouldn't hurt to try to start and give him a chance, man, if you're hurting at quarterback, because like he said about outperforming Bryce Young with Will Levis, I think Sam Howell could outperform um, Bryce Young and more quarterbacks too. Because there's going to be guys like Aiden O'Connell, man, coming in and playing for Las Vegas, and there's all these backups, man, that are starting this week. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that you're going to be able to count on. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to go for these starters while you can. And Sam Howell's definitely my top choice if I'm going off waivers and he's still there.
And then, I agree with that. And then for my sit-ems, I have Jordan Love against the Rams. Jordan Love started out this season hot. Everyone was like, wow, he's breaking records and all this. I think it was for like most passing touchdowns and whatever. I have no idea. But he's just not impressive. That whole offense is looking really mediocre. Aaron Jones, dude, Eddie offered me Aaron Jones in a trade. Aaron Jones hasn't been doing nothing all year. He just got off an injury 2 weeks ago, and I don't even think he had over 8 points yet. It's very mediocre, and everyone was so high on Jordan Love in the beginning of the season. I feel bad for guys like Romeo Doubs and stuff. Matt LaFleur, he's on the hot seat right now. I don't understand how you aren't winning games. But, yeah, definitely I'd sit the running backs for the Packers because, you got Aaron Donald up there in the middle. They're going to be able to stop this run, I think, this week. And, Jordan Love just isn't impressing me. My other sit-em I have is Trey McBride against the Browns. I don't care that he put up 25.5 last week. I really don't. That was with Josh Dobbs. There's a new quarterback coming in here, this rookie. The Browns have allowed the fourth fewest points to tight ends in fantasy this year. And just having a rookie quarterback in there, he needs to figure out how to get the change of pace and to get on track and start moving the ball. But I think the Browns end up coming away with a win. I don't know if they're starting Deshaun Watson or what's going on with him, if he's holding out or this and that. He's been bitching and saying, it's not that I don't want to play. I waited for 2 years to come back, But, yeah, he's bitching about his shoulder and all this stuff. My last sit-em is Jordan Addison just against Atlanta. Another surprise not another surprise, but just another reason because he has a rookie quarterback coming in there, Jaren Hall. I don't know if Jaren Hall is going to tear it up, but I know that Atlanta's defense isn't no pushover and that they have pretty good CBs out there. And crazier, I just think sit Jordan Addison this week. And, dude, and another maybe fantasy pickup is this guy's been hungry. This guy is ready to play. Taylor Heinicke has been named the starter in Atlanta this week. So maybe we got Taylor Heinicke in there. And hey, you never know. Pick up Kyle Pitts this week because Heinicke loved Logan Thomas in Washington. And so we might see Kyle Pitts get on a roll in Drake London.
I like Kyle Pitts and Drake London. I was thinking that when I was going to say him, but I just didn't want to say any because I said him yesterday on Eddie's thing. But, I like those picks definitely, man. And for my two sit-ems, or actually I'm going to say three. It might sound a little bit weird because two of them are going to be Eagles. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sit DeAndre Swift. Dallas's run defense and pass defense, all around defense is just really good. I don't expect a monster performance out of DeAndre Swift or Tony Pollard, to be honest with you, because Philly
Yeah.
has a good run defense too. Or Tony Pollard, I wouldn't count on him having a big game either. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna sit DeAndre Swift. I'm gonna sit Philly's defense because Dallas is a high scoring offense. They put up a lot of points consistently every game. And I don't have any doubt in my mind that they do it again this week. I'm not going to say they're going to go out and beat Philly, but I think it's going to be a high scoring game, and I don't think any of these defenses should be started this week. And that's it. That's all I have.
All right, that was a really good episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Go on and like and subscribe to our YouTube. We're starting to put shorts up on that. Go follow us on TikTok. We're posting basically every day clips from the podcasts, and we'd love to hear your guys' feedbacks. And we also post the podcast on Facebook and some shorts on there, and also on Instagram. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it.